Recognized is Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, thanks for being here. Thanks for being in the arena. We know it's difficult. I think the case that we're trying to make today is that there's a crime problem, and when you prioritize solutions, you can actually make a difference. And I'm just going to quantify that statement because I think that Washington, D.C. has a crime problem. Shouldn't just say that, but if it's true, it'd be evidence. And the House Budget Committee reported in early 2024 that crime surged by nearly 40% last year, which is 2023, with over 270 murders, 950 carjackings, and 106 children shot, reminiscent of the 1990s crack epidemic. And of course, you've heard the stories of staff members here. We all kind of, believe it or not, know somebody that has been a victim of crime right in the nation's capital, right? As of October 2023, the violent crime rate in D.C. hit 664.2 per 100,000 people. For comparison, New York City had a violent crime rate of 184.4 per 100,000 people. So that's dramatic, right? 184.4 versus 664.2 for D.C. Dramatic. In 2024 in Washington, D.C., 72% of all property crimes were larceny, theft, and motor vehicle theft, burglaries, et cetera. Washington, D.C. had 3,693 offenses per 100,000 people, which would rank it first among all states in terms of highest property crime rates per USA Facts, and that's if it were a state. So that's what I'm saying. I think D.C. does have a crime problem. And look, there's been a lot of complaining here, not necessarily by you, about what the president's actions are, the Guard being in D.C. In one case, they're claiming that they're policing D.C. In the next case, they're blowing the leaves away. It's one or the other, but it's not both. But let me ask you this: you got a problem. You're the mayor. You probably know. You're living here too. Did you ever reach out to the president, to any president, and say, look, we've got a problem here. Will you deploy the Guard? Will you help us with police? We're not handling it. We can't fill our ranks. We can't afford to. Have you ever done that?
I have called on the National Guard in D.C. I called on them during COVID. I've called on them in other weather emergencies.
But
yes.
what about as a general, look, the crime stats I just related to you are ongoing, right? Mm-hmm. This is not just a surge. This is just not a momentary COVID thing.
Yes.
This is a daily thing for the people of Washington, D.C. to endure, and the people of the country that want to come to their nation's capital who are afraid to come to endure. So have you ever done it on a consistent basis, saying to the President of the United States, this is the nation's capital, you reside here, can you send me the Guard to help assist with law enforcement or assist with policing? Have you ever done that other than episodically?
No, I described to you the times that we have done it.
And it's episodic, and so my point is that the problem has to be focused on, and it has to be fixed.
Mr. Perry, can I answer you a different way?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we don't regard the Guard as a law enforcement agency.
It's not a law enforcement agency. It can assist in law enforcement.
We wouldn't call on them to police our neighborhoods.
But you would agree that right now crime has dropped dramatically since they've been present.
Mr. Perry, what has worked is not the National Guard in helping enhance MPD services. What has worked is more DEA, more FBI.
So you're saying the Guard has had no impact in D.C.?
No, what I'm saying is the Guard is not, as has been described to us, has not been.
Can you quantify that?
I can't quantify a causal relationship.
You can't quantify it, so you can't make the claim. But I can quantify something. Listen, I want to talk to you about something else, which is...
But I do want to make the point.
I want to ask you this question. I'm running out of time, and I want to be respectful of everybody
here. But I don't think the Guard has made any arrests.
I want to ask you. So you've employed a bunch of traffic cameras. Can you, a whole pile of them, hundreds and hundreds of them, are traffic cameras for safety or for revenue generation?
They're for safety.
But it says here that you plan to fill a $580 million revenue hole in your budget shortfalls using traffic cameras, right? You said that.
No, what we said is that our budget includes revenue generated from traffic
Expected
cams.
580.
We don't-
You said this, ma'am.
We want to
It's
drive,
per the Fines and Fees Justice Center. Let me just, because I want to
Yes.
quantify this as well. In '06, you had 43 fatalities, traffic fatalities. But in '23 and '24, you had 52 each of those 2 years. The traffic cameras are not making your people safer, and particularly in wards 7 and 8, where it's predominantly a black population, 20% below the poverty line. These fines are imposed on them, hurt the worst for people. So traffic cameras and automatic traffic enforcement, it should be about safety, but it's unfortunately about revenue generation, and it's imposed on the
Regular order.
people that can least afford it in the District of Columbia, the people that you represent.
well,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman, I
Perry,
yield the balance.
I wish that you had also pointed to this year's traffic fatality and collision information. So in
Ma'am, this
addition,
year's not done yet.
well, it's trending in the right direction. Yeah. Yes, but the trend is so that we would be at well below those numbers. And our traffic cameras are a part of that equation.
The traffic cameras,
engineering
ma'am, with all due
fixes-
respect, you have the worst traffic in the country by city as regarding according to Consumer Reports, and that includes L.A. And not allowing people to turn right on red is a contributor to that, and then fining them, especially in the places where people can least afford it, is grifting on the people that support your city, and it shouldn't be done. It should be about safety only. The fourth most populated city in the country, Hoboken, has 0 cameras and 0 fatalities, ma'am. I yield.
Thank you, Chair.